Put on headphones. Listen to 1.
Justice is lost. Justice is right. Justice is...
Notice something? The kick drum sounds like a typewriter. The snare cracks like ice breaking. James Hetfield's guitar cuts through the mix like a scalpel through skin. And underneath it all, where the warmth should live, where the foundation should anchor everything, there's nothing. A void. A ghost frequency. This is... And Justice for All. 5 million copies sold. A landmark in progressive thrash metal. And it sounds like someone surgically removed its skeleton. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. Someone walked into the mixing room and decided to kill the bass, to bury it so deep in the mix that you'd need an archaeological dig to find it. The question isn't what happened, it's why. September 27th, 1986. A tour bus slides on black ice outside Ljungby, Sweden. Cliff Burton, Metallica's bassist, their musical compass, the guy who brought Bach and harmony into thrash, gets crushed beneath it. He was 24. The band doesn't cancel the tour. They audition replacements within weeks. 50-plus bassists show up. Most of them play Cliff's parts note for note, like they're at a tribute concert. Then Jason Newsted walks in. 24 years old. Plays in a band called Flotsam and Jetsam. He's a fan. Not just of Metallica, he worships them. He knows every riff, every lyric. He plays their songs faster and tighter than some of them do. He gets the job. He thinks it's a dream. It wasn't. Jason joins in November 86. By early 88, they're recording. And Justice for All. The writing sessions are brutal. 9-minute songs, time signature changes that would make a jazz drummer sweat. Jason contributes. He writes parts. He even gets a co-writing credit on Blackened, the album's blistering opening track. In the live room, his bass rumbles. It fills the space. You can feel it. But then it goes to mixing, and something happens in that room that changes everything. One-on-One Recording Studios, Los Angeles, summer, 1988. The band hires Steve Thompson and Michael Barbiero, mixers who'd worked on Appetite for Destruction. They know heavy music. They know how to make guitars and bass work together. Lars Ulrich sits behind them, watching, listening. The first mixes come through. Bass is prominent, thick. Jason's tone has this grinding, distorted edge, aggressive but musical. It locks with the kick drum. It gives the guitars something to stand on. Lars doesn't like it. Steve Thompson remembers the moment clearly. In a 2018 interview, he recounts Lars saying, "See that fader? See the bass? See that? Okay, now see how it says 0. Now go down, like -5. And then just drop it down from there and see where it feels good." They comply. Pull it back 5 decibels, then more. The needle barely moves now. Jason's parts are there, technically, but you'd need a spectrogram to prove it. Thompson is diplomatic when he tells the story. Professional. But you can hear the discomfort. We mixed it the way they wanted it mixed. Translation. We told them this was extreme. They didn't care. Why? Lars would claim it was about the drums. His kit was tuned high and dry, lots of attack, minimal resonance. That sound lives in the same frequency range as bass guitar. They were fighting for space, and he's not entirely wrong. It is a real mixing challenge. But here's the thing. Professional engineers solve this problem every day. You don't delete an instrument, you EQ it. You carve frequencies. You use compression to make them sit together. Thompson and Barbiero knew how to do this. They'd done it on Appetite. But Lars didn't want compromise. He wanted his drums to dominate, and the easiest way to get that? Bury the new guy. It started small. Kirk Hammett later admitted they'd unplugged Jason's amp during rehearsals, let him play for minutes before telling him he wasn't plugged in. They called it initiation. They made him sleep in separate hotel rooms on tour, separate buses sometimes. They rejected his input in writing sessions. And when it came time to mix the biggest album of their career, the one that would define thrash for a generation, they erased him. Not completely. That would have been too obvious. Just enough that he'd know. Just enough that every time he heard Blackened or Harvester of Sorrow on the radio, he'd feel it. The absence. Listen to the isolated bass tracks that leaked years later. Jason wasn't playing root notes. He was composing counter melodies, harmonies, runs that added texture and movement, all of it buried, all of it wasted. And Justice for All comes out September 1988. It debuts at number 6 on the Billboard 200, goes platinum 5 times over. Critics praise its ambition, its technicality. Fans memorize every polyrhythmic breakdown, but they also ask, why does it sound so thin? Where's the bass? Jason reads the reviews, hears the complaints. He knows the answer. He stays with the band for another 14 years, through the Black Album, through Load and Reload, through therapy sessions documented in Some Kind of Monster, where he finally breaks. My opinion doesn't matter in this band, he says on camera. It never has. He quits in 2001. Decades later, bedroom producers and audio engineers take on a side quest, fix Justice. They find the isolated tracks, the stems, Jason's original bass parts. They remix the album. Suddenly, the songs breathe, the guitars have foundation. The drums hit harder because they have something to push against. It sounds like a different album. No, it sounds like the album it should have been. The fans call it And Justice for Jason. It's not official. Metallica has never acknowledged it, but millions have heard it, and they understand what was taken. Here's the thing. And Justice for All became a classic because it sounds broken. That dry, top-heavy mix is part of its identity now. It's harsh, uncomfortable, relentless. It sounds like anger that hasn't figured out its grief yet, which is exactly what it was. The title is grimly perfect. Justice for All. Except the bassist. So what do we do with this? Do we cancel the album? Pretend it doesn't slap? No. We hold two truths at once. You can love something and recognize the cruelty baked into it. You can headbang to Dyer's Eve and still feel bad for Jason. Art doesn't need to be morally clean to matter. But people do need to be treated like people, even especially when you're grieving. If this video made you hear the silence differently, hit subscribe. We've got more stories where the music is perfect and the humans are not. Because that's rock and roll. Cold, clinical, and sometimes cruel.